Paul, over to Liverpool. Every week we get 1 week closer to January when these three stars can sign pre-contracts with other clubs. Rumors of a Virgil van Dijk contract that is actually nearly complete, one that's been offered to him and put on the table. Do you think that and Mo Salah's deal will get done in the next few weeks? I mean, obviously Salah is in incredible form and the prime reason that they are where they are in the Premier League table.
In what order do you want them of confidence? Let's go very confident we'll sign Virgil van Dijk. Let's go still not sure, up in the air, Mo Salah. Let's go think he's leaving Trent. I think the Virgil van Dijk contract is nearly there. There was a press conference call last week actually at Liverpool. So we look at the emails from the certain media outlets that we work for, and we got an email saying there's a press conference at Liverpool called a day earlier than what there normally is a press conference. And Virgil van Dijk was the player that was put up. So it looked at it, I thought, oh great, well there we go. New contract. They're going to announce this contract anyway. Complete damp squid. It was the day before. The players have been given a day off, and they just brought the press conference a day forward. And Van Dijk was the player that they'd put up for the press. So they sucked it in that way. But actually, I think Van Dijk will be the one that does sign. Mo Salah, he's quite vocal. We don't see Mo Salah stopping in many mix zones, as we've already talked about. It's not. I don't get that. I don't know what Pete thinks, but I don't get that. I'll give you my very quick opinion. The club are in control here. Regardless of what policy you've got, whether you're over 30 years old, if the club have got a policy you only offer a 1-year contract, you've got one of, if not the best players in the world. Look at the way he played at Newcastle this week. You look at the way he played at Southampton the other week. He is still at the top of his game. His body defies logic. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo, he's 40 years old. His body defies logic. You get certain players of a generation, and Mo Salah is one of those players. You give him a 2-year contract. You don't need a 1-year contract. Give him a 2-year contract. I'm sure if you ask many Liverpool fans, they'd give him a 3-year contract. There is no way to stick to principle. You have your principle and you have the way of doing things, the letter of what you want to go by for the majority of players. Every now and then you get a freak, and you've got one. You don't discard the best player in the world just because he's over 30, just because of the numbers. Look at him physically, look at his data, look at the goals he scored, look at his performances. Give him 2 years, give him 3 years. Make sure that he signs a contract and stays there for as long as you can. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think he owes the club a little bit, in all honesty. I think he's come through the ranks. I think it's his club. I think his head's been turned by Real Madrid. His mate Jude Bellingham's there. We know that they're very close. He's the only one out of the three. If he does leave, you would think that he's kind of turned his back a little bit, because he's the only one with any real value to the club. Mo Salah is the age that he's at. They're not going to get top whack for him. They'll get a hell of a price for him, but not top whack for him, whereas Trent carries the value. Virgil van Dijk, you're not going to get a lot for him. Sign him a new contract, get the best out of him until he's finished his career. Mo Salah, exactly the same. Trent still carries value. So I think I think they've dropped the ball there a little bit, the club, in not keeping up to date with Trent's contract and keeping him in a place where they're in control rather than the players in control.
Big question is how much it's going to cost to replace these three players if they don't sign new contracts. You're looking at well over probably £200 million to replace those three players, and they are three key players. Look at the impact Trent had when he came off the bench against Newcastle, created 2 goals. So what Mo Salah can do. Salah's a match winner. How do you replace his goals, his assists? It's pretty much almost impossible. So if Liverpool want to give their fans a Christmas present early, they'll look to get these contracts tied up as soon as possible. And I think if they can get them put to bed as well early, the contracts, then it's all focused on trying to be successful and to try and stay in front in the Premier League and win that title. You can see from the hunger of Mo Salah, he's got his eyes on winning silverware this season. There's no distraction from him, despite all the teasing of he hasn't been offered a contract, he's more out than in and everything else. It's not affecting his performances right now. He looks like he's a player who wants to win Premier League, Champions League, everything else. So as it stands right now, I'm a bit like you, Paul. I think Van Dijk and Salah will end up signing. Trent, I'm probably 50-50 right now. I think his heartstrings are probably pulling, keeping him towards Liverpool, while he might be looking at Real Madrid as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join the Spanish Giants as well. So I think he's probably more 50-50 right now.
I think he's less than that. I think the more that goes on, I think he's almost done. I mean, a player of his age and his affinity with the club, it's all getting washed under the carpet a little bit. We're talking about Mo Salah because he's brought it to the forefront, but actually Van Dijk and Trent, because Liverpool are doing so well, they're so far clear at the top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. If they weren't as prominent as they were at the top of both leagues. I think these conversations will be coming up more often. Listen, I reckon Arne Slot's getting fed up of talking about all of them's contract situation every single press conference. He was quite tongue-in-cheek the other week, wasn't he, when he talked about Mo Salah and Man City, saying that's the last time that we're playing Man City. Does Mo know more about the 115 charges? I thought he handled that brilliantly, and that just shows that he's kind of getting fed up with it, but it also showed me another thing, that he's not in control of it. But he's doing very, very well to keep control of a dressing room and a contract situation that he's not fully in control of.
And Pete, do you think Liverpool could make a move for Alphonso Davies as a potential, Andy Robertson replacement, a potential star fullback to bring in with seeing Trent leave the club?
It'd be an exciting signing if they were to get him. Obviously, there has been a few murmurs of maybe Liverpool looking at a new left back for next season due to some of the indifferent form of Robertson, and obviously Tsimikas has been very hot and cold as well. Alphonso Davies is one of the best left backs in the world. He's proved that at Bayern Munich, playing at the highest level. Also, loads of experience on an international stage as well with Canada. Still only 24 years old as well, so he's still got his best years ahead of him, Alphonso Davies. The problem for Liverpool, if they were to make a move for him, I think there's going to be big competition for him. I thought he's probably going to end up at Real Madrid. Still think he probably will. They've been the ones who've been leading the chase for Davies for quite a while now. They've been waiting for him to run down his contract at Bayern Munich to sign him on a free transfer. Manchester United have also been linked with him as they desperately look to bring in a left back due to their ongoing full-back issues at Old Trafford as well. But I just think probably Liverpool will be priced out of this one, even though he is a free agent. I think it'll be a huge signing on fee for Davies and huge wages as well, and I just somehow see him making that move to Real Madrid rather than anywhere else.
And Paul, do you think Liverpool are regretting at all signing Mamardashvili when Kelleher has been great anytime Alisson's been hurt over the past couple of years and really showing the promise of a top goalkeeper?
No, I think Mamardashvili is one of the best, if not the best, young, promising goalkeeper in Europe. I think we saw that in the summer. I think he's an outstanding talent. I was asked only this week to do a little piece for one of my main media companies that I work with in the UK, and they said rate the top three goalkeepers in the Premier League this season, and Kelleher was my number one because of the fact it's very, very hard to be a number two goalkeeper. The mentality is very different. You're not expected to play every week. You know you're not going to play every week, regardless of what you do in training. Because of somebody like Alisson, you know you're not going to play. You can train the best you've ever trained in your life for 3 weeks, but if Alisson's fit, he plays. And the perfect example of that was Arne Slot's press conference last week when he was asked about Alisson. His answer was, subconsciously, he didn't realise what he'd said. He said he'll be in goal for Liverpool before the end of December, which tells you that he's number one. So regardless of what Kelleher does between now and when Alisson's fit, when he's fit, he plays. So that's the very difficult life of a number two. So back to the original point of Kelleher's performances this season, not necessarily knowing he's going to play, played 8 Premier League games, 3 Champions League games, and apart from the goal against Newcastle, he's been exceptional. So I think he'll find himself very hard done by when Alisson does come back in, but as a number two, he understands his role, and that's the role that he'll fit back into. And next year, I don't know. I'm not speaking from any kind of place of authority, speaking to a player or anybody that knows the player. I think he wants to be a number one. You look at the opportunities that he's had now. It's his time in his career, the age that he's at now. He doesn't want to compete with Mamardashvili to be Liverpool's number one. He doesn't want to be on the bench for a game, play a cup game, play a league game. It's now his time to go and be at another club and be the number one goalkeeper. Liverpool made a shrewd signing in Mamardashvili. He's an excellent goalkeeper, and I think you'll see that next season, the season after. He is the natural successor to Alisson, who Liverpool see. But I think for Kelleher, for Liverpool fans, enjoy him while you've got him, because I think at the end of this season, I think he'll be moving on.